Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today we got a very interesting marathon. There's so much to talk about, and I will. So get yourself, maybe a cup of coffee or some water. This is going to be a longer one. Just so much to talk about here. I wanted to thank David Hess for sponsoring this marathon. I appreciate it. Thank you. And we're going to get into some bands. Some of them I don't know at all. And then some of them I'm pretty familiar by name. And then, of course, we got stuff like Van Halen. Maybe you clicked on the video because of him or a band, that stuck out. But yeah, so we're going to do we're going to do 3 audio reactions and 2 video reactions. All right, so we're going to do a longer one. So we're going to start it off with Korn. We're going to do Freak on a Leash from the Follow the Leader album. Let's see here. This is from 98. Then we're going to check out TNT, 10,000 Lovers from the Big Bang album. I think this is a compilation album, so this must be maybe, I can look it up, maybe 80s or 90s. Then Vandenberg, I've never heard of this band, Burning Heart from the Vandenberg album 1982. This is a self-titled album. Then we're going to check out Zakk Wylde. Zakk Wylde from Ozzy Osbourne, I'm sure, or Black Label Society. We're gonna check him out playing Mississippi Queen, which is, as far as I know, because I was looking yesterday for this audio, and I think Mountain is the original band that wrote the song. And then we're gonna finish it off with Van Halen and the official music video of Poundcake. So that's the only one that kind of worries me. I hope it doesn't get blocked because it's Warner Brothers, and it is. I might just have to, like, if it gets blocked, I must just have to put something over it, like a little. If you've seen me do it before, little kind of like tape, on the screen, so the video is blocked. So, but yeah. So, yes, without further ado, let's get started with Korn. So now, Korn is a band that I've always kind of ignored. I don't know why. Just like I remember when they came out, I was just, I guess, into like some other stuff. I was mostly like when Korn came out was, I don't know. Let me see when they released their first album. Let's see. So 1994. Well, I was pretty young then. So the first time that I actually heard of Korn as a band and that some people were listening to them, I didn't like them at all. The music, it was just like this, I guess, like this new metal thing. And I was at that moment in time into heavy metal. I was listening to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Yngwie Malmsteen, and I didn't even listen to like the new Metallica. I was listening to the old Metallica, Megadeth, and so I kind of like totally ignored Korn, and I think somebody played me their music and I just didn't like it. So today would be the day that I either become a fan, or I'm just gonna continue on this, just like I don't like him. But let's see. So let's check out Korn. Let's talk about the music. Let's check it out, and then we'll continue because there's so much that I want to talk about with TNT that it would take me like 10-15 minutes just to go through all the bands that. So let's talk about Korn. Let's listen to Freak on a Leash, and let's see. I do like. There's some work that the Korn singer has done with Infected Mushroom. That's pretty good. Very interesting stuff. But that's obviously completely different in style. So let's check it out. Let's check out here Korn And thank you so much for being here, everyone. If you like what you see on the channel, please give it a like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. All right, so here we go. Freak on a Leash.
Something takes a part of me, something lost and never seen. Every time I start to believe, something's raped and taken from me, from me. Life's gotta always be messing with me. Can't it chill and let me be free? Can't I take away all this pain? I try to every night, all in vain, in vain. Sometimes I cannot take this place. Sometimes it's my life I can't taste. Sometimes I cannot feel my face. You'll never see me fall from grace. On a leash, feeling like I have no release. How many times have I felt disease? Nothing in my life is free, is free. Sometimes I cannot take this place. Sometimes it's my life I can't taste. Sometimes I cannot feel my face. You'll never see me fall from grace. Something takes a part of me. You and I were meant to be. A cheap butt for me to lay. Something takes a part of me. Boom, da, dum, dum, da, ima, da, 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 boom, da,
Okay.
dum, da, ima, da, boom, da, 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 go!
All right. Well, obviously I'm older now, and since having the channel, I've been, I don't know, it has changed me, in the way that I can just I'm just more open. Now, again, it's not my favorite, but I can see why a lot of people would like this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hate it. but I can see why I didn't like it when I heard it, because the music that I was listening to was full of guitar solos and crazy, classical parts and just interludes and like melody, like harmony guitars and all this very high pitched or falsetto kind of singing, and just like this thrash or like heavy metal. So this for me was always just like, I don't know, it's just not, but I can see why people like this. So this reminds me a lot of like Marilyn Manson. Obviously just the new metal scene. I wouldn't call Marilyn Manson new metal, but it also was, I think, like in the late 90s, after the grunge scene kind of like stopped. That's when Marilyn Manson kind of popped up, and I think also Korn, and then I think Limp Bizkit and all these like new metal bands. So but it's not, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, I think what I used to always read Guitar Player magazine, and I always saw them on the covers of the Guitar Player magazine with their 7-string guitars, and I was like, why do they have 7 strings? They don't even play guitar solos. I didn't really know at the time that they used them to actually tune lower to like a B or something, or like a drop D and then to a B or something. I don't know. To get this like even like grunt, like this, like very low register, like so I guess I didn't get it. So I thought, why would somebody use 7 strings if they don't solo and stuff like that? But as a teenager, that's just how you are. You shut off certain things, and that's just who you are. But it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't bad. Now, would I listen to it? Maybe, maybe if I get more into it. I don't dislike the voice at all. It's actually pretty original, and also just the riffing and the whole thing that he was doing. Jonathan Davis, I looked up here the whole kind of like Inception. I tried to read very quickly, but without giving it too much attention, because I do want to focus on the music. But at least like the logo that they're going to call themselves Korn with a C, and then they kind of like changed it to a K, and then also they switched the R because Toys R Us, because they used to work there and stuff like that. Their sales, 40 million records. I mean, they are obviously up there, with other bands, like, big bands, just like the ones that I mentioned, Metallica, Manson, but I've always been into like stuff more like when it was newer and from the 90s, like Rage Against the Machine, and I was like into The Offspring, and then of course Pantera, the new Pantera that came out in the 90s after Cowboys from Hell, because that was like obviously thrash, and then the next one was just like brutal, brutalesque. But this was, it wasn't bad at all. Like, I have to be honest, and I know, for example, Lee's a big Korn fan, so there you go. See, I'm not so I'm not so strict anymore. I don't know. I can just like I can just accept other music a little bit easier, because I just take a step back and say, so what makes it so good for other people, So I can see the potential. I can see how somebody could. Also the lyrics, also the whole aspect of, especially when you're younger, you deal with a lot of emotional shit, So this music obviously is kind of like also for those people, like they can relate, and that's how would I relate? Like I would relate with lyrics like Metallica, like stuff like that. But yeah. Even though they came out almost at the same time, and some Metallica came out at the same time as this was pretty new, but I was just so much more focused on older music. So, but well, that was Korn. It was pretty good. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So let's leave it at that. Now TNT, this is a good story. So TNT, I was just talking about a friend of mine, and he lived in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and he was from Mexico City, so he knew like so much music. He got me onto Dream Theater. He got me onto TNT. He got me onto Striper. He showed me Michelangelo. He showed me Spastic Inc. Stuff like that. I was like, and unfortunately I don't know his last name. I don't even know how to find this guy. And I was just telling Alexia about him. I was like, oh, I wish I could find this guy. And he was really good friends. I even met his mom, who came from Mexico City to visit us. And we would just hang out every day, all day. And he was a huge Ingrid Malmsteen fan. And but yeah, he showed me Dream Theater for the first time. So thanks to him. You know, but so the story that TNT, he had, I think like a burned CD or something, and he had a song on there that he loved, which was called Northern Lights. So I don't know, David, if you know this Northern Lights song, but it was TNT, and I looked them up before doing the video, and TNT are from Norway, and it's this guitar player, Ronnie Tekro, and he has such a bizarre technique when he plays solos. It's almost like he plays every note that he kind of plays, he picks kind of like double, and it sounds really weird, but it doesn't sound bad at all. It's just like, it's such a different style. So we're gonna listen to this song. This is from a different album, the Big Bang. So 10,000 Lovers. Let me just look up something here real quick. 10,000 Lovers. Let's see. I think the Big Bang is a kind of like best of. Let me see if I can find the album, the actual album. So TNT Lovers. Okay, so what is this from? 1987. 1987. So Tell No Tales. Okay. Okay, it's the same version. Actually, the one that I'm going to play is 2 seconds longer. So let's check it out. Let's check out TNT. And let's see, because the one song that I used to always hear was a ballad. It's called Northern Lights. So let's check it out. Here we go. So that's the TNT I remember. Super high pitched vocals, very cheesy. I didn't know that he was also related later a singer for the band Skid Row and Starbreaker. And I just saw Mark Wood. Let me see. Westworld was a side project of Harnell's. I'm talking about the vocalist. That also featured Mark Reel, Bruno Ravel, John O'Reilly with keyboardist Josh Pincus and violinist Mark Wood. Because we just did an interview, and it's going to release in about 1 or 2 days, with Joe Denenzone, the current violinist of Kansas. And he used to play with Mark Wood. So if we interview Mark Wood in the future, I wouldn't be surprised. So that's kind of cool. I really like it. You know, it is obviously, it's not this music. Bands like Skid Row and like the TNT, I think are a little bit heavy, heavier than, this is like Striper. This is a little bit like White Snake, White Lion. What else? All the California based, metal bands. And those bands had just a style, which was almost like, let's make metal that also chicks can like. That's the honest truth. They even set this in a really, really important metal documentary. I think it's called Heavy Metal, a documentary, and it's from this Canadian guy. And he interviews King Diamond and, oh my God, everyone. Ozzy Osbourne, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Megadeth. But also from, the California, like the LA scene of music, you know, Twisted Sister and Quiet Riot and stuff like that, you know, and it's just a different style of music. This style is almost like the guy from what are they called? Oh man. Tommy Lee, what's the band? God, let me see. Let me look up something. So because there's a certain style, there's bands like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, you know, Manowar, Stradivarius, stuff like that, which is you know, the new British wave of heavy metal. And then there was this kind of music, which was, here they are. Let's see. John Norum from Europe, right? The band Europe. We have Jolene Turner, Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen did music like this later on. Why can't I find more bands? Am I on the vocalists? But well, I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Bands like, let me see if I click on this, maybe they pop up. These are all bands I've never heard of ever. There's so many good bands here. Jeff Scott Soto, also Yngwie Malmsteen singer. But let's see if they come up here. Sebastian Bach, that's the singer. George Lynch, but they were all like in this LA kind of like world. Michael Schenker. So Dokken is a band, for example, that I'm talking about. Dokken, the typical, you know, LA. The Scorpions later on, even though they were super heavy in the 70s. Yeah, I don't know. They just don't. I'm just on the wrong. Dangerous Toys. I don't think so. That's more prog. But well, you know what I'm talking about. So I kind of like this, but obviously also at the time I didn't consider this like super heavy, like Striper, for example. Striper. And then I found out they would only sing, you know, like about God and stuff. It very Christian metal. So, but man, that Striper is insane. They're so good. Their solos are so memorable. Like, but yeah, very, very cool. I really like this. I mean, this is something that I would listen to because it has that, there's something about it, you know, the vocals. I mean, to sing like that. And did you hear that guitar that he was kind of like playing every note kind of like twice? Like he plays, it's almost like the hand, the right hand is playing like double the notes, which is super bizarre because I usually play very alternate. I play every note like clack clack with every finger, and now I kind of try to kind of like omit the picking because it sounds like, and when you stop doing that and play more legato, then it has this beautiful like flowy sound, almost like a wind instrument. But well, that's something completely different that I'm going to talk about someday. Okay, but yeah, definitely very, very cool. Short song, but very sweet, very, very cool. Okay, so now Vandenberg, never heard of them, have no idea what I'm getting into here. By the cover, I think it's going to be something. Yeah, let me just do something here real quick. Look, this is what I mean. List of bands from Los Angeles, okay? Okay, Alcatraz. But Alcatraz, one of my favorite bands ever. No, but I wanna look at like metal bands, LA metal bands, 80s. So there's gonna be like this list of bands. There we go. Motley Crue, Rat, Poison, LA Guns, Van Halen, you know? Let's see. No, this is not metal. But you see, Winger, White Lion, Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Striper. You see, Wasp, Warrant. Let's see, Cinderella. You know, those are the bands that I kind of like I'm trying to talk about. They were just different. There were those bands that I just mentioned, and then there was Megadeth and Metallica and Pantera and Iron Maiden and, you know, Manowar, because they were just different styles. This was like thrash and power, and this was more like, it was still metal, but it was more directed towards to be able to sing along, for chicks, you know, also for men, of course. But it was just, it was perfect, because if chicks were at the concerts, more men would go to the concert. It was just like almost like a genre to kind of like hook up, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I do like this genre. I do like it, you know. Okay, so let's check out Burning Heart by Vandenberg. But from the looks of it, I think it's also in that universe, you know, that kind of music. So let's check it out. I like it. There you go.
Does it feel the same when he calls your name? And does it feel the same when you play the game of love? When he holds you tight, does it feel alright? Just like it used to do when I was with you, making love to you. This burning heart of mine, it still hurts after all this time. This burning heart in me, won't let me be.
Oh my god, I had to sneeze right at the end. Oh man, this was awesome. This is definitely really, like, yeah, I love it. I have to be honest. I love a good power ballad, you know, and I obviously I need to hear more, you know, but this is more like heavy metal, hard rock, down like what I like. And it says here, All Music called it easily one of the most underrated debut metal albums of the 80s. That's crazy. I think I'm gonna. They're from let's see, from, they're Dutch, and yeah, it has like this. Oh, it was recorded by in Jimmy Page studio in England. Nice. That's kind of cool. So yeah, from Amsterdam, from Holland, you know, Dutch. Yeah, it's like super weird because it's like, okay, they're Dutch, but they're from the Netherlands, but they're also from Holland. You know, it's always been very funny, but it's the same thing with Germany, you know, in other languages though. I really like this. Really, really cool. It reminded me a lot of Scorpions, you know, later Scorpions, like 80s Scorpions. Very cool. That solo, that was amazing. From Adrian Vandenberg, he played that. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Burning Heart, also their most listened to song on Spotify so far. Definitely a winner here. So, thank you so much, you know, Dave, for the introduction, you know, for Vandenberg, reintroduction to TNT, and the introduction to Korn. So now I'm going to do a quick pause because we're going to listen to Zakk play almost around 9 minutes solo here. 9 minutes song. I know it's going to be a long solo. And then we're going to finish it off with Van Halen. But let me just pull up the solo. Give me just one moment. All right, I keep saying solo. I don't know why. Here is Zakk Wylde playing Mississippi Queen. And I hope you guys enjoy. Let's check it out. On an electroacoustic. What a savage.
All the other dudes, they was getting their kicks. I
it lag.
Thanks a lot, guys.
It seems like every time I go to the play or pause button, my computer completely freaks out. So I apologize for that. That was pretty sick. Very, very cool. Especially, look, I'm a guitar player. I like to, jam, and I remember, like, oh my God, so many times, hundreds of times, when we would play live and we would just piss people off, man, because we would not stop like soloing, especially when we would bring somebody up on stage, and play some blues, and we would just it was basically a competition. You had the better licks, who was faster, and but again, we're kids. But what is so impressive about this one here, that he was doing it on, I'm sure a very like highly modified electroacoustic. I mean, the action on this guitar, there is no action. It's like butter smooth, because I mean, he couldn't play. Or maybe he's just like, I mean, he's a big guy. He literally looks like a Viking, So, but I mean, also what he was playing is, he was just playing the same stuff over and over again. And hey, that's cool, because that's the style, that's the song. It's a blues progression, and you can't really like mess around too much, because it's bizarre. It doesn't sound good. So he's playing, the pentatonic scale at an incredible velocity, and but I love his bends. I love everything that he does. He doesn't do the typical tapping BS, because he doesn't need to. He just sounds really cool with that crybaby on. I mean, the guy is just technically like up there, with the guitar gods. But I mean, it is, after a while, obviously, even I think just guitar players are kind of like, well, I got it, but it's, it's fun. I love the band that he had on stage, like the older gentleman, and I was rocking out. And that lady on the bass, beautiful. I love the piano. I'm still looking at the screen, by the way. I love the drummer and the piano guy giving him that blues honky tonk kind of vibe. And the man can sing, the man can sing. And I love that he has his own band apart from Ozzy, because he's obviously very famous because of Ozzy Osbourne, for being with Ozzy, I think almost since Randy Rhoads, after Randy Rhoads. And there's been all these iterations of Zakk Wylde. So I've seen him a couple of times, live. So I already knew he was going to go for like a 5-minute long solo, which is fine. Like, the man can obviously play, and he has a great sound. I love that sound of that acoustic. Holy moly. And I was like, because you couldn't really see in the video, even though I have it on full screen, it's like, I can't see the E and the B string. Like, where are they? And then on the close, I was like, okay, they're there. But very, very cool. Black Label Society. I don't know why they didn't label it as Black Label Society. Maybe because all these musicians are people that he invited or something. But very, very cool. This has a lot of views, 3 million views. So the bass player is Nikki Parrott. She's a jazz vocalist and bass player from Australia. Oh wow, cool. It says, yes, it's a modded and distorted acoustic guitar. It was made for this kind of performance. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was like, how can he play like that on this acoustic? But very, very cool. Very, very talented guy. And oh wow, there's so much stuff from him. I don't know, is that like the guitar that he uses it always has that kind of like those circles. I love that. I love that he made that his like signature. Really, really cool. All right. Okay. So now, this is, I think this is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be my favorite, but I love Van Halen. And let's check out Poundcake, the official video. And if it's blocked right now, if you guys are watching it and it's blocked, then it's because Warner kind of pulled it. But I will eventually, I always, if they block something, I'll dispute it and I'll upload it twice. And then once they unblock it, I'll release the unblocked version. So if right now, if you see like a bar over the video, you can't really see the video, it's because they blocked it. Okay. All right. So, here we are. Let me see. This is the Van Halen video of Poundcake, and let me see, it's kind of stuck right now. No, don't know why. Let's see if we go full screen maybe.
What?
Okay, we got it. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out.
What are little girls made of? What are little girls made of? With sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what little girls are made of.
Holy sh- That guitar, man, beautiful.
You take an average guy who cares to identify, and there's a short supply of all the fine stuff. Let me get on some of that. Shake it up, bring it out nice. Let me get on,
Okay, that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like? It took me some time, to get into Van Halen. I don't listen to him in my, like just my friend group, or just it wasn't on the radio anymore. When did this come out? But man, I mean Van Halen or Eddie, just Eddie. I mean the whole band is amazing, but let me see, when did this come out? Poundcake. Van Halen. Let's see. 1991. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, they look super young. But I mean, first of all, like the music, I'm so kind of I'm bummed that they couldn't figure out the differences, in the last, I guess, 20 years or whatever. Or the last before he passed away, and it's just a shame, because what a band, and Sammy Hagar did this like tribute video, and now Alex Van Halen is all pissed off about it, and it's just, right now Michael Anthony was kind of like, let go, and it's just like a bad situation. So that's kind of like sad, because what an epic like band, and they really had, something different. The sound, the attitude, it's just freaking amazing. And that video, full of beautiful women, it's just good taste, good stuff. It's just, yeah, and also I loved his solo. It's so unpredictable. Van Halen, maybe he wasn't the fastest guitar player, but he was so damn creative. That's what I like. I like that, the way he started with one note tapping, and then he would go places, and he was very, very supportive of one of my favorite guitar players, Alan Holdsworth. And I'll never forget that Eddie was such a good guy, incredibly creative, super different, inspirational, just like I'm almost sad that I didn't listen to Van Halen like before, I mean, I'm sure I would do my tapping stuff, when I was learning, I was tapping and stuff like that, but he's just very, very creative. The solos are very, very well structured, and I love that. And I also, the music and every riff is kind of memorable. The song, I mean, the thing is about this, a lot of people are like, well, there's faster players, but he wrote songs that are so memorable and so recognizable, and that's almost like when you can separate that, because don't get me wrong, I love Steve Vai, I love Joe Satriani, and I love Ingrid Malmsteen, but honestly, those songs, even though, I mean, I can kind of like, because I have listened to them so much, like I can remember them, I can hear them in my head. But just a normal listener on the radio, you play them Steve Vai, they're like, what's going on, And then you play them something like this, and it's like, wow, there's something memorable. Okay, I learned the chorus. Guitar, it's not just about the guitar, and in some music, and I'm like that as well. I listen to a lot of instrumental music where it's only about the guitar, but now, since I've been doing the channel, I kind of understand what they were about. Van Halen was about the attitude, and it was just a cool band. Like, I think there was nothing quite like it. I think they were well respected, and they're very original. And I love Sammy Hagar, but I also love David Lee Roth. I think I like them exactly the same, because since I didn't grow up with this music, so I don't have any favorites. I think they're both very good at what they do in their singing and their songwriting. And so this was very, very good. Thank you so much, David, for this really nice introduction, of these past bands that Korn, I only knew of by name, and I heard maybe one or two songs, but not that I even remembered, was so long ago. TNT was amazing. Vandenberg, very, very good. I loved it. Very, very, like, super surprising. Thank you so much for that introduction. First reaction to Korn, to Vandenberg on the channel, to TNT, even Zakk Wylde. I've never reacted to Zakk Wylde, and Van Halen. We've done a couple of reactions, Alexia and I, and we always are like, like that. Very happy with Van Halen. So again, thank you so much for doing this, David, for this awesome marathon. Very, very cool. A lot of great moments in this. I hope everybody enjoys. And yes, I did have a lot to say, and I was a little bit critical. I hope nobody gets offended or pissed off, but I just want to be honest. I'm always going to be honest. If something is too much, or if something is just not up my alley, then I'll be honest about it. And it's almost very difficult for me to really dislike something. It really has to be like awful, because nowadays I give a lot of music that I honestly wouldn't have, liked before. I give it a chance, and I can see something good and something that I maybe don't like that much, I mean, if it gets into other side, it has to at least be rock, but if we go into like some other styles of music, I might be a little bit more critical, but we almost don't do that on the channel, which would be kind of interesting to do, But again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you like the channel, if you like what Alexi and I do here, if you like these marathons as well, a longer format. It's kind of fun to just put this on and, maybe work on your painting or, whatever you do, or cook something, I don't know. But it's like a little bit, this long format is a lot of fun for a lot of people. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you all in the next one.